Biblical origin of the name Emmanuel. The first mention of Immanuel is found in the book of Isaiah. During a tumultuous period for the nation of Judah, King Ahaz faced threats from neighboring kingdoms. Jehovah God sent the prophet Isaiah to reassure Ahaz and provided a sign of hope. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14, New World Translation. Therefore, Jehovah himself will give you a sign. Look. The young woman will become pregnant and will give birth to a son, and she will name him Emmanuel. This prophecy served both as an immediate sign to Ahaz and a future promise of deliverance for God's people. Fulfillment in Jesus Christ. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that the ultimate fulfillment of the Immanuel prophecy occurred with the birth of Jesus Christ. The Gospel of Matthew links this prophecy directly to Jesus. Matthew chapter 1 verses 22 to 23. All of this actually came about to fulfill what was spoken by Jehovah through his prophet, saying, Look. The virgin will become pregnant and will give birth to a son, and they will name him Emmanuel, which means, when translated, with us is God. This connection underscores the belief that Jesus embodies the realization of God's promise to be with his people. Significance of Emmanuel in Jehovah's Witnesses' teachings. Representation of God's presence. The name Emmanuel signifies that God is with humanity through his Son, Jesus. Jehovah's Witnesses emphasize that while Jesus is not Almighty God himself, he perfectly reflects God's qualities and purposes. Rejection of the Trinity doctrine. Jehovah's Witnesses do not subscribe to the Trinity doctrine. They interpret Emmanuel not as Jesus being God incarnate but as God's means of salvation and communication with humans through Jesus. Jesus as God's means of salvation. Jesus' role as Emmanuel highlights his position as the mediator between God and mankind. Through his teachings, sacrifice, and resurrection, Jesus provides the way for humans to be reconciled with God. Understanding the context of Isaiah's prophecy. The prophecy in Isaiah had both an immediate and a long-term fulfillment. Immediate fulfillment. In Isaiah's time, the birth of a child named Emmanuel served as a sign to King Ahaz that God would deliver Judah from its enemies. This immediate fulfillment reinforced God's protective presence. Messianic fulfillment. The ultimate fulfillment came centuries later with Jesus' birth. His life and ministry provided a more profound realization of God with us, offering spiritual deliverance. Emmanuel and God's kingdom. Jehovah's Witnesses teach that Jesus, as Emmanuel, plays a central role in God's kingdom. King of God's kingdom. Jesus is viewed as the appointed king who will rule over the earth from heaven. His reign will bring about God's original purpose for humanity and the earth. Restoration of paradise. Under Jesus' leadership, the earth will be transformed into a paradise, fulfilling God's promise to be with his people in a perfected world. Practical implications for believers. The concept of Emmanuel influences how Jehovah's Witnesses live and practice their faith. Confidence in God's support. Believers are encouraged to trust that Jehovah is actively involved in their lives, providing guidance and support through Jesus. Imitating Jesus. Following Jesus' example is seen as a way to draw closer to God. By cultivating Christ-like qualities, individuals reflect God's presence in their daily lives. Sharing the good news. Jehovah's Witnesses engage in a global preaching work to share their beliefs about God's kingdom and the role of Jesus as Emmanuel. Emmanuel in worship and literature. Jehovah's Witnesses incorporate the significance of Emmanuel into their worship and educational materials. Publications. Articles and books published by Jehovah's Witnesses often explore the meaning of Emmanuel, providing insights into its prophetic and practical applications. Meetings and conventions. Teachings about Emmanuel are included in congregational meetings and larger assemblies, reinforcing the theme of God's presence. Clarifying misconceptions. Jehovah's Witnesses address common misunderstandings about Emmanuel, not equating Jesus with Almighty God. While acknowledging Jesus as Emmanuel, they maintain that he is distinct from Jehovah God. Jesus is God's Son and representative, not God himself. Purpose of the title. The title Emmanuel emphasizes the closeness of God to humanity through Jesus, rather than suggesting a literal incarnation of God in human form. Conclusion. The name Emmanuel encapsulates a core belief of Jehovah's Witnesses, that Jehovah God is with his people through his Son, Jesus Christ. This understanding reinforces their faith in God's active role in human affairs and the hope for future blessings under God's kingdom. By recognizing Jesus as Emmanuel, Jehovah's Witnesses find assurance in God's promises and are motivated to live in a way that reflects His presence. References: New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures by Jehovah's Witnesses. Articles and publications available on jw.org, the official website of Jehovah's Witnesses. This comprehensive explanation provides an in-depth look at the significance of Immanuel according to Jehovah's Witnesses, reflecting their beliefs and interpretations based on biblical scriptures. Please like and subscribe.